self-confidence. And when they have self-confidence, it can get beaten up a little bit, but it's still there. If they don't have it at all and they're dependent on what their classmates think of them, that is always a dangerous place to be, because that needle moves all the time, both positive and negative. It happens all the time. All right. Any final thoughts on that before we go to the next chat? This
You can also just not bathe your kids, send them to school.
Yes.
They're dirty.
Yes,
no one wants
do
to
that.
talk to them anyway.
Wow. They'll be great.
Again, I don't have kids, but just the one thing I want to touch on as far as like being accepted and succeeding at a younger age, I do think that we kind of feed a lot of kids this bulk.
There's your time has come. Kind of
Watch the movies that you're seeing today. They try to almost villainize the kids that are successful.
Oh no! I'm not talking about successful. I'm talking about popular.
I'm not saying
I'm usually not based on any merit.
But there is this kind of, well, your time will come. Just wait. And those are the bad people. The popular, smart, athletic kid. Like, no, your time will come if you're taught a valuable skill.
Yeah.
If you work hard, it's not just going to happen because you deserve something to happen.
Yeah. It doesn't just happen, right? Anything. It doesn't just happen. You have to put in the work for it. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, you can't just sit there and things are going to be handed to you. Well, I guess technically in this economy you can. You can just kind of sit there and do nothing.
Migrant.
No, illegal immigrant.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's
Silent.
undocumented.
Builder.
Is my life still?
A dream builder. I like to call them dream
Dreamers. Final chat. I dream of this day being over. Final chat from A. Shave.
All right, this is over with anyway.
Good. I didn't want to pick a question.
He's in Boston again, huh? Okay. I know that.
Oh, he did what? Can't wait for Ballard to meet Tom Figgy. I already met him. Tom gave me the scoop on all the people, man. He introduced me to all the people, showed me who everyone was, and then he realized I had a goddamn speaker. So he told everybody to stop talking to me. He was like, just stop talking to me. He's got a goddamn speaker. But the cool thing is, Tom knew it was the chats. Tom knew how the internet worked, and he knew it was the chats, and he wasn't me. Like, Tom wasn't hating on me. You know what I mean? He took a picture of me, man. Tom is cool peeps, man. I like Tom. Yeah. Tom is cool
Is he
peeps.
fucking cop?
Tom's cool as fuck.
No.
He knew exactly that the chatters were trolling. He knew it wasn't me, and he did. He wasn't hating on me about it. You know what I mean? Who's that scally right there? The turtle riders have distanced themselves from me. Tim got mad because I asked an opinion earlier. I asked this other guy about his opinion if Turtle Boy would take a plea deal. And boy, did Tim get mad. He got really mad. Tim's the guy with the dog. He's a hardcore turtle rider, man. I think he's gonna be let down quite a bit when you got scammed, man, during ago? I thought it played. No Mercy Sheep got scammed.
Oh, yeah, it was nice.
Did you get scammed, No Mercy Sheep? Yo, everybody getting scammed, man.
Dude, we missed it on Super Bowl Sunday, man. There was some girls there working. It was hard to be there with the way she was even commenting on him. She's like, damn, I see why you were coming here. I'm like, look, see that long-haired dude over there? That's who served us. The one you thought that was homeless when we walked in because he was out front smoking? Oh yeah, she really did. She loved it. It was about halfway full when we got there. By the time we left, though, the place was packed.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Food was good, really good.
You heard of Joker Styles?
I had that street corn.
You heard of Joker Styles?
That was really good.
Yeah, he's like a rapper from Texas.
Some fries. Oh, I had their grilled wings too.
Really mainstream. But it's good.
I don't know why I disconnected. I don't know why I did that there. But they have the fried ones too, you know, the regular fried ones, but you know, you go to a wood fire place, you want wood fire food.
Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Chalk demons and an Asian. Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Chalk demons and an Asian on parade. Lara to ho.
The guy wasn't having it. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. I don't give a fuck about no Joker Styles. He just walked away. Yeah, it's getting really cold out here, man. The sun has completely went away. It seems like the temperature has dropped. And, I'm getting a little full in the bladder area, right? I've been drinking a lot of Powerade. I haven't really walked it off, so it's just going straight to my bladder, right? I hear a whiny dog.
All right.
Is that dog whistling, man? Is that dog whistling? That dog needs some Joker Styles. I'm sorry for the scam this morning. Anyone that scammed on the media, I apologize. The YouTube media app is not working for some reason. I don't get it. Hand warmers. I'm squishing your sign. I'm squishing your sign. I'm squishing your sign. The Total Riders have completely created some space between me and them. I am no longer welcome within the Total Riding group. They hate the speaker. I've also lost the L on my speaker. I no longer have the L. It's only a JB. The good news is I have my voodoo piggy. Holy fuck! Did you guys hear that? This is the only good news we have here.
Man, pump 2. It's up on the pole. He's trying to figure out what pump he's at.
Turtle and Kate are gonna come out right here.
I'll leave you guys on. Be right back.
Hey there, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey there, friend, buddy. I wonder if she's cold or he's cold. I wonder why he's whining. Why are you whining there, buddy? also been told there's a Karen Reed shit show tomorrow at the Norfolk District Court. This hearing super long. Are you cold there, buddy? The saga continues. The saga does continue. Who's Sandra? Crystal J. Who's Sandra? I don't know who Sandra is. I don't know who Sandra is. Sandra Birchmore. Oh yeah. He was just telling me about that. The guy, the turtle boy with the sign. He was telling me about Sandra Birchmore. Yo, it's so cold out here right now. Well, out here right now. The sun just came out again for a little bit. My whole body's frozen right now.
With that pepperoni roll.
I'm starting to question like why I even come out here. Like this is probably one of the worst choices I've made in my life.
Dude, it's not even cold there.
Man, it's so cold.
Bob was such a bitch.
I'm freezing. These people are freezing.
I don't think he ever got stationed at a cold weather place.
I got a real life TTS though. And I got a bunch of TTS this morning. Thank you for all the TTS this morning. Thank you for all the Freeman Streets. Sorry about the scams. I apologize for the scams.
Desert Asians can't handle Massachusetts. Joko.
Yeah, this is too much, man. This weather is just way too... Like, how do people live here? This is nonsense. Like, according to these people, it's not even really cold. It's just, like, mild. This is horrible right here, man. Like, why do people live here? This shit's terrible. What town am I in? I'm in Leominster, man. That's where I'm at. I'm at the Leominster trial court. Kate Peters is in there with Turtle Boy right now, having a hearing. One of the Turtle Boy supporters is in there right now getting the scoop. And eventually we're going to get the scoop. Kate Peters and Turtle Boy, they both are attending a hearing about a harassment protection order, maybe? I believe. Something like that. I don't know the details. I'm just here scallywagging. I'm here so the internet scallywags don't have to be here. What's up, Cynthia? Welcome in. You think it's Leo Minster? Yeah, it's Leo Minster, man. Oh, it's crazy, man. The wind is just so bad, man. It's piercing through all my clothing, man. Oh my god, man. Oh, God, it's so bad. Hey there, buddy! Bad right now. Oh my god. My whole foot's frozen. I can't move my toes, man. It's like they're stuck together, man. Bro. So cold.
Alright. That's exciting. He's gonna bail pretty soon as it was.
Get shelter under.
All right, so there he is, just kind of meandering around this morning. Now there was this other clip that came out. I wasn't real sure how this was going to be related to anything, but since he's talking about cops, it's Pittsburgh, not Philadelphia. My bad. Pittsburgh police.
Yeah, hear this?
According to inDOCtriNATION, will no longer respond to certain calls. They're just going to say, well, I guess leave a message. I don't know. What do you want us to do? We're just the cops. Thefts, harassment, criminal mischief, burglary, alarms. Additionally, there will only be 20 police officers patrolling the entire city. It's going to be like the Purge. It's going to be like Haiti here soon. They're going to be eating each other. Here is what is happening, apparently, in Pittsburgh.
Rick, what was the big takeaway today?
Yes, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond.
What?
They will no longer
Rick?
respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and
What constitutes an emergency? Help, I'm being attacked. Yeah. But you're on the phone, so why don't you just hang up and deal with the attacker? Let us know if you really need us. Okay. You got one hand on the phone. Hang up the phone, fight with the other hand. You'll be all right. Just let us know. Let us know if you're bleeding out. Okay, just call us back if your jugular's been slit open. All right, then let us know.
7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. During the overnight shift, there will be as few as 20 officers to cover the entire city.
Wow.
The chief said today the data supports that.
Yes, it's enough to cover the entire city in those hours when we have 8% of the time people are calling. I'm confident in the decisions that we make that it impacts this bureau and the city in a much.
It's Pittsburgh, right? That's a pretty big city,
better way.
I like it.
Now, the chief also acknowledging today that some of these changes are due to staffing shortages. He's down to 740 officers, well below the 850 they would like to have. Now, coming up with 5, residents, city council, and the police union all weighing in on these big changes that begin Monday. Live in the studio, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
Okay, so that's happening all around the country, right? We talk about this a lot here, about how the institutions are going to just slowly fail, right? Slowly going to start to drop out of the sky, and they are. That's not good. So it's our government has been promising us that if you give them more money, more power, more capability, that they'll be able to handle all this stuff, but they can't. And a lot of these changes are going to necessarily be made. And some of it's by design. You might say, look, what they do is create its cause and effect, its problem, solution, its thesis, antithesis, synthesis, right? We have all of this balancing going on. They cause chaos. We demand a solution to the chaos. They bring in their totalitarian solution, right? We go from version 1, which is normal police that are connected to your community that you may have some oversight over. They minimize all of that. Defund the police, defund the police. Anarchy. Police are gone. What is the solution to that? Because they're thinking,
arm everybody.
way further ahead than the average voter. They push that all the way out. What's the solution to that? Oh, perfect. How about a federal police force? How about the National Guard on the subways with long rifles checking people's baggage, right, in very blue New York? And they're having some concerns about that. Why are there armed soldiers all around us now? Well, because that's what you asked for there in New York. That's what you think was going to happen when you defund the police and you drive the people who create goods and services out and steal people's property.
I disagree with him.
$100 million. What do you think is going to happen? All right. So that is that. Now, got some other stuff over from Biden. I think it's very good to think about being prepared, especially if you're in a city like I am. We got this one also. So Joe Biden came out and he sat down for an interview with MSNBC. Not good. I don't know why they, we know why they have to do this, but it's not good when he does it, because what happens is kind of steps in it a little bit. And this one, I think he got right the first time. When he was jacked up on amphetamines and Adderall and whatever else they had, flowing through his veins at the State of the Union, some truth came out. It's kind of like you had one too many drinks. You kind of started speaking a little bit, like a little loose, a little loosey. He came out and he said, Laken Riley was murdered by an illegal, just like thousands are. We're like, what? Who the heck is this guy? Hey, Joe, how are you? Who is this guy? Okay, like when you're right, you're right. How about that? But he got a lot of criticism on this, and so he had to walk it back. You don't want to offend, a murderer, especially an illegal alien. He might, I guess, break the law again if you do that. It's very sensitive times. So he walks it back. Now here is Speaker Mike Johnson, the House of Representatives. He came out and he said, the president is cowering to his base, pathetic, showing deference to a man who deserves none, the illegal alien. This man is an illegal alien property who brutally murdered Laken Riley. President Biden should be apologizing to Laken's family. What an embarrassment. So
fucking breaks, dude.
Well, I'm really sorry that some of my lefty friends like Pramalia Jayapal, sorry that she's so upset with me, but here he is correcting the record.
I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about at the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood.
So language?
He talks about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country.
Especially people who murder American citizens. They definitely deserve not to be offended with the proper labels on their criminality.
Okay. The reason our economy is growing, we have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Yes, should not have used the word. That is accurate. And remember, there was the other clip of him. He came back out. He got asked about it, and they said, well, do you regret using it? He's like, what? Well, I mean, technically he wasn't supposed to be here. He knows. I think deep down he knows. It's just because it's the right side of the coin that he, I think, probably deep down wants to be on. But he's not in charge of anything. He's just, Joe Biden. They just throw him around from room to room to room. All right, so that was one exchange. He's apologizing to the murderer rather than Laken's family. Of course, Donald Trump did meet with Laken's family. I think I've got a clip of that coming up. But here's another situation where he got into it, stepped into it. And on MSNBC, Joe Biden was asked about this ceasefire situation. And there's Joe Biden's in a lot of precarious positions. So, with the illegal comment, for example, if that was just a flub, if that was a mistake, then it's just a mistake on a pretty big issue coming from the president, right? So that's not ideal. And I think that's kind of where they're going. But if you admit that it was a mistake, then you say, why is the president making a mistake? One of the biggest criticisms, of course, is his incapability to do the job. So if he's making these mistakes on critical issues, it set off a whole, flare signal fire, and then it caused a bunch of Democrats, Castro, Jay Powell, many others out there. No one's illegal. No one, which is weird because U.S. code says differently. So they're the same people who scream to us that no one's above the law. That's strange though, because it's like every single illegal immigrant is above the law because they say no one's
Who's this
illegal.
guy?
Well, U.S. code says that they are illegal aliens. It's in there. Congress wrote it. You people wrote it in Congress. Now you're coming out saying that no one's illegal, so they are above the law. What the heck's going on here? Because you told us that's not true when it came to Trump. All right, so
That's not son of a
they're in this
bitch, man.
precarious position on that one. They've also put themselves into a. So it's like, its issue is what is our government doing? If you're playing both sides of this, that's a strange thing to be doing. And it certainly sounds like they are supporting both sides and at the same time kind of admitting that both sides are also wrong. What the heck is going on here? Whether it's implicit or explicit, that's, I think, what's happening, and ultimately it's kind of irritating both sides. So that's what happens when you try to give everybody everything that they want because you have no values. You're just a placater, a people pleaser, and you try to cobble together your constituency by promising every single intersection exactly what they want. So here is Joe, and you can see this is a nice summation. They ask him about a ceasefire, which is what him and Kamala and his administration have been screaming about. Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. But then he kind of admits, well, maybe Hamas wants that so they can regroup. He catches himself. He's like, oh, dirt. And he goes off into World War II, whatever. Here's Joe.
Who actually wants a deal? Do you think Hamas actually wants a ceasefire?
Well, I think Hamas would like a total fire across the board because they see they have a better chance to survive and maybe rebuild. But that's not what I think. The vast majority of people think you have to look.
Look at this guy. He's off the road.
Busted. Oops.
After what happened in World War II,
right,
and the carpet bombing that took place, what happened was we ended up in a situation where we changed the rules of the game, our constitutional legitimate rules of war.
All right, so then he just starts talking about Lord knows what, so he's just meandering around. Probably not going to do one of those interviews anytime soon. This is also a bit of Kamala, right? She was out visiting Madison, and that's in Wisconsin, and what she was explaining, and I don't know if she's talking to 8-year-olds or who she's talking to. What is this? Is this like an 8-year-olds convention or something? Because listen to this. Here's what Kamala says this election is about.
And I'll say, we all know this election is as much as anything about each of us deciding what kind of country we want to live in. It really is. It's about deciding whether we want to live in a country that prioritizes and values decency, democracy, freedom, liberty, rule of law, or not. And I'll say,
hey, do you want to live in a free country or do you want to be a slave, huh? Well, you know who to vote for. I'm Kamala Harris. We did it, Joe. Yeah. The old bag, good to see you. Yeah, it's amazing. So, all right, that's our president. We did it, Joe. Amazing. This is another, okay, so over the weekend, we know that both Trump and Joe Biden were in Georgia, and then Trump had a wild turnout in Georgia, absolutely insane. He also went to the UFC fight, and the crowd there was crazy as well. But this was a scene from Joe Biden's event, and it's basically empty. This dude is protesting, and you know the whole event is basically empty. And you can get a sense for how empty it is from this clip. So this guy, all right, so he starts screaming. He gets right up to the front. Now Joe Biden's doing his, whoa, 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 hey, come on, man, hey, come on, man. So that guy removes him out. Now, it's pretty empty back there. Once you get back here past this line on the right side, there's basically nobody in there. And so they throw that dude out, and watch Joe. He just watches him go. I love that face. He's totally just kind of gone. So protesters are showing up at his event. And it was pretty empty. I mean, there were a bunch of comparisons flying around on X. relative to Trump. People were signing up in Trump, waiting out in line. In fact, let me just see if I can just grab one of these things. Trump, Biden. Let's see if there was any comparisons. There was a bunch at the time. Let's see if we can get anything good on this one. Yeah, basically, this is what it looked like. This came out from John LaFarve. He posted this, like, here's what Trump's crowd looked like. And they weren't even taking, yeah, it's like totally, it's crazy. Totally So we'll see what happens in Georgia again. If they have a water main break at 2 a.m, Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade are like, we got it covered. We're going to go take care of this water main break, no problem. And then they just start pitching votes into the shredder. But this was Joe Biden's crowd, okay? So there isn't even any room, right? The media is back here on a platform. They're all stood up on this platform. And that, most of it was media and the protester dude, right? Like, that's it. So it just shows, again, the energy. Now, they're going to all, lie to our faces again and say, well, that doesn't show anything. Just like in 2020, it doesn't show anything. Yeah, it does, okay? We know that 2020 was rigged and stolen. They just found votes and changed the numbers in the wee hours of the night. And this is more evidence of this, right? It's completely indicative of what's going on. So huge crowds for Trump, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Nobody's happy with Joe Biden. And as I explained earlier, right, when you straddle both sides of an issue, you kind of anger everybody on either side, which is why it's better to lead with principles and values. You anchor those in. That's your North Star. That's the compass that you always follow. So someone else says, can you promise me this and give me this? And you say, no, it's not in alignment with our values. I can't do it. Sorry. Right? It's a measuring stick. But what Joe does is he I don't know. I think their response to this Middle East situation has been wild, because it felt like they were siding with Israel. He went over there, and hung out. They were doing whatever they did. And now they're building apparently a port over there and airdropping food. What? So are you agreeing then that this situation is problematic? In other words, you're in alignment with the Palestinians now? Because if you're allies with Israel, then you're saying that that this is all being done as humanely as possible. But if it's not being done humanely, then it sounds like you got to airdrop food and build a port. If they're our allies, why don't we just, ask them to open up a doorway in a road? We just truck stuff in, whatever, right? It's inconsistent. It's logically inconsistent. It's almost like they're funding both sides of the conflict, which, probably true. But here is Jamal Bowman. So the question is this going to be enough for your side? Is Joe Biden's little, token efforts going to satisfy and rectify this fissure, which is ultimately what I'm interested in? What's happening inside the Democratic Party? It's such a conflict that's causing this divide. And there's a big problem, right? I actually honestly think that's the reason why Joe Biden is, now airdropping food or whatever, because he's recognizing Michigan and some of these other states that have big contingencies that are not happy with his current policy. He's starting to lose them in spades. Like, I don't know.
What the fuck, man?
What? Food out of the airplanes.
Dude.
I wish you would have called for an immediate ceasefire.
Dude.
An immediate
bringing over
of humanitarian aid. I'm happy, though. He was very critical of Israel. I think that's the first time I've seen
idiots.
a president be that critical of Israel.
Go.
That
Get over.
And that publicly.
Not
so
gonna let him
was
over?
good. However, the situation is dire.
Politically, will that hurt him, do you think, by not calling for an immediate ceasefire?
I think so. I think he has to do that. I think he has to do a lot more than that.
This was a pretty political speech in there. He went after Trump directly. Do you think that was appropriate in this venue to go? Why? This is the State of the Union, not a campaign speech.
Let me just tell you something. The campaign has begun. We know who the Republican nominee is going to be. We know the Democrat. And I think this notion of this old man who can't keep up with it, he blew that up today.
And that had been
Dick
the concern
Durbin.
from so many Democrats that I've been speaking to in the run-up to the State of the Union, that he needed to do more who are could.
In these cases, he's not going to be convicted in these cases. And more importantly, we'll see how those play out. But I'm not worried about his liability. I think Democrats should be more worried about Joe Biden's liability.
You'd support Trump if he's convicted.
I don't believe he should be convicted. I don't believe any of the things that they're alleging are legitimate. Bottom line is I'm supporting Donald Trump.
Yeah, the answer is yes. We'll support Donald Trump, even if he's convicted by a sham prosecution, by Joe Biden's crap DOJ, right? They're all partisan here. So, yeah, they are weaponized prosecutions, and Trump is innocent. And Rubio. You know, I heard Rubio was actually on the list for a potential VP slot. Did you see that rumor? I heard that there was 3 people on the VP slot. Britt of Alabama, the one who kind of just botched that response. I heard Rubio, and there was someone else who was on the list. And I thought, interesting list. Was it someone else from Florida? Anyways, all right, so that was CNN. Of course, we got Tim Scott, who's been thrown around as a prospective VP candidate. And here's what he responds to Joe Biden, walking back his illegal comment, saying that our president is placating murderers now.
Talk about disgusting. Joe Biden is more worried about using the word illegal or undocumented. The word he should use is murderer. Here we have Donald Trump, our president, sitting down with Blake and Riley's family, and you have Joe Biden apologizing for what word he used. We need a president who's serious about saving American lives by closing the southern border with a Trump wall. We need a president who is serious about saving American lives by reinstating the Remain in Mexico policy. Maria, we need a president who is serious enough about saving 70,000 Americans who are dying of fentanyl by getting serious and tough on our border. We don't need a president who's going to backstep and apologize for using the word illegal versus undocumented when the word he should just use is murderer. That is disrespectful to the Riley family, and I'm so thankful that President Trump sat down with the family and made the commitment that I would make as well, which is simply, we will close our southern border and save the sons and daughters of this nation by putting America first.
All right, nice. Okay, nicely done there, Tim. Well done. So I think he's also at the top of the list for a contender for the VP role. And another interesting one. Yeah, very interesting. So that race will continue to unfold. Now, as Trump becomes the nominee, as he continues to secure the votes, Nikki Haley, get out of here, she's gone. We got this censured liar called Adam Schiff. And he was in the Intelligence Committee some time ago. Of course, he was thrown off of that because he's a liar. And he is someone who has been censured historically by the House of Representatives, and he deserves it. But now that Trump is consolidating delegates, it looks like he's going to be the nominee, as it always did. The question is, he is at some point going to get intelligence briefings. Remember that? When you become the nominee, I believe, or at some point you start getting briefs because you need to know what you're talking about, and you need to be able to respond to what your opponent in the White House is talking about. So it's a courtesy. It's a rule that they get access to many of the same briefs. And what they're doing now, because people like Schiff and Brennan are, still kind of involved, I think probably tools of the intelligence apparatus, they say that Trump's briefings should be dumbed down, that he should not get the full display, the full brief that the president does, Joe Biden, if he even can understand what they're telling him.
Congressman, let me ask you about this development this weekend. U.S. intelligence officials are planning to provide briefings for Donald Trump if he officially secures the nomination, despite the fact that he's facing 40 felony charges for his handling of classified documents. As the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, do you think it's appropriate for him to receive intelligence briefings?
Why is he in Boca Raton?
Well, that is the practice, but we've never had a situation where one of the candidates for president has been so criminally negligent when it comes to handling, if not worse. When it comes
yeah, actually, normally that is the rule. But Trump, right? It's always but Trump.
Comes to handling classified information. So I have to hope, and knowing the intelligence community as I do, that they will dumb down the briefing for Donald Trump.
Knowing them as I do, right? What does that mean? Your little daddy handler, your CIA master, who just carries you around on a leash, Schiff, they're going to dumb down his briefs? That is illegal.
That is, they will give him no more information than absolutely necessary, nothing that would reveal sources or methods.
So they'll follow the law.
Because we can't trust that he will do the right thing with that information. He's been so reckless. So yes, it does concern me. It is part of a long tradition. They will be wary of what they share with him, and they should.
No, they should not. It's really treasonous, honestly. I mean, it is the will of the people is speaking right now. Okay, our voice is speaking through our votes. Trump has obliterated all of the other candidates because he is the most legitimate in our eyes. Regardless of what they think about Trump, it's the people's choice. And the Republicans, Trump hasn't stolen any elections or anything. He's just going through winning. Super Tuesday, blow them all out. So that means that we think he's legitimate and we want him to have access to all the same tools that every other candidate is supposed to have access to. But they will do this, I think, throughout the entire campaign, right? Every time that they can do this, they might even feed him bad information, right? We're on high alert for Christopher Steele 2.0, right? Russiagate 2.0. All these phones, we're waiting for them to just create another problem. And they're going to get into it with this bond stuff, right? Another big issue is bond. They're saying, who's paying for Trump's money now? Where'd that 90 million come from? Who's behind it? They say Musk's behind it, or the Saudis are behind it, or some other people are behind it. And they'll probably open up another investigation there. And we'll see what happens in Arizona, right? Arizona's also investigating Trump and the alternate electors here. So maybe he gets indicted here. It's never ending, and it's because they know that they're going to get blown out of the waters at the polls. The American people are sick of this stuff. One thing they're sick of is the fake economic numbers. They keep telling us jobs are up, and they revise the jobs back down every single month. Then they say inflation's coming down. No, it's not. Costs are still up. The rate of inflation might be coming down slightly, but no, nothing's returning to the norm. Not happening. Here is this guy. His name is Gary Cohn, and he's on with Face the Nation explaining the truth about the economy.
But the president is tapping into at least a perception that wealthy people have far more of an advantage, and that corporations are taking advantage of the little guy. I mean, he went down to the 10% fewer Snickers in the bag analogy in his speech, basically saying you're getting ripped off. So what do you make of that idea, though, and the explanation he's trying to make for why people are experiencing inflation, even though the rate is coming down?
Well, let's talk about inflation for a minute, because I think it's a really important concept for everyone to understand. Inflation has a compounding effect, meaning as you look at inflation year over year, you're adding up those numbers. Yeah. You're not starting at a zero every year. So if we had 6% inflation last year, 7% inflation, and now we have 4% inflation, that's 10% inflation. So if you take a basket of groceries at the beginning of 2020, just a simple basic basket that cost $100, it costs well over $125 today. Yeah. Because those 4% one year and 7% one year and 7% the next year, they add up. They're cumulative. So there's a huge cumulative effect to inflation.
So when people are being told, consumers, you're wrong, inflation's heading, no, they're right.
They're completely
right.
Totally right. Completely right. And what they're more right about is we at least finally have gotten to the position where wage growth is faster than inflation. But we had not been there till the last few months. So people were losing purchasing power, and that's why people were angry. And then take on top of that the high interest rate environment, where if you thought you might have been in a position to buy a house because you saved money, you go out to get a mortgage at 7 or 8%, you can't afford a house. So people got very frustrated because the cost of their everyday lives got very expensive, and the cost of investing in their future by buying a home got nearly impossible.
So
nice, right? So a bunch of people watching CBS are like, huh? What? That's not what Rachel Maddow told me. That's not what Jen Psaki told me. That's not what Joe Biden told us, right? They say, well, inflation's coming down because the rate of inflation is slowing year after year, but every single year, right, it still compounds. And we can all see it, we can all feel it. And this guy's like, no, you're right, okay? The other people on the other side are wrong. They're the dumb ones, not us. We can see it in our pocketbooks. And people remember a better time, including the people at UFC. Here is Donald Trump, Dana White, and a bunch of other people walking out, man. The crowd, the energy, you can feel it. I feel like there is a lot more energy in 2024 than there was in 2020 by an order of magnitude, right? 2016 was wild, was a wild election. There was a weird energy online on the internet and around. People could feel it. And in 2020, that was noticeably down. And now we know it's because all of those posts were being censored, right? We were being censored. All of our friends were being censored. People were being, deleted, and posts were being suppressed. And they had COVID to, demoralize and de-energize an entire population, essentially. They used that as an excuse to create, ballot rules and Dropbox rules and waive signatures. We covered all that, ad nauseum. But now, even in spite of all that, a lot has changed. We have X now, Rumble is now available. We have locals now. We have different, ways to organize.
It's going to be the oncoming traffic.
I think is kind of back in vogue.
Right over on the other side of the wall. They're going to be ripping up all that other shit.
The left are not feeling like they're deliverable.
It's
or
like
being
3
delivered.
miles.
That 25% dollar, 25% rate of inflation increase that translates to dollars in the grocery store. We all feel it. So there's some energy. And here's what it sounds like.
Also making his way to the octagon, the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, flanked by UFC CEO Dana White. And locked in the pageantry is just how big a mixed martial arts fan Donald Trump is. He sits on the outside with the hands on. Absolutely loves our live events. And a real privilege to have President Trump in the building at UFC 299.
Look at that guy. I think, is that Alex on X with the Never Surrender shirt, ALX? Hey, there's Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson's back there. All right, that's Dave Portnoy. I think that's Jared and Ivanka. Jared and Ivanka are there. That's Patrick Bet David right there in the house. Saying hello to Patrick Bet David.
Why are we doing the speed limit?
So you can see, right, like just a lot of energy there. And he's just saying hello to everybody. Hey, it's Bongino. It's Dan Bongino. And I think that's the Rumble. That's Chris Pavlovsky over there. Dan Bongino in the house. And Chris Pavlovsky. So, man, yeah, interesting, huh? So, very, very, very warm reaction from Trump. And a lot of big names in the crowd there. So, very cool to see that all happen. A lot of energy, right? A lot of energy. Dan Bongino's crushing it in his live streams. He's like 100,000 concurrent like every day. There's good energy out there, right? Alex Jones is back. We got Joe Rogan's back on YouTube. A lot of gears are in motion. Very, very good stuff. So anyways, that was a lot of fun. And as the election continues to near, ask ourselves about the campaign, right? Are there going to be debates? I don't think so. Joe Biden can't talk. They're going to say Trump's an insurrectionist. We're not going to platform his lies and all the things. So Trump says, I'm ready to debate anywhere, anytime. Let's go. Put me in the octagon, said Trump. Here's what that sounds like.
The Washington Post. What a terrible paper. The good news, it's losing so much money that even a rich person isn't that stupid that they're going to keep it going. But the Washington Post, some real lightweight journalist, quote, journalist, said Biden wants to debate Trump. But Trump is not available. He doesn't want to do it. Can you believe this? So officially to you, Washington Post, and you know the reporter I'm talking about, they make it up. They say, Biden wants to debate me. He wants to do it, but I don't want to do it. No, just the opposite, as he knows. These are very dishonest people. They're so bad for our country.
That's true.
I want to debate Biden because I think it's important for the American people to hear what's going on and how can you destroy our country like you're doing it. So officially, I want to debate crooked Joe Biden. Anytime, anywhere, any place, I'll debate.
Let's go! Do you think Joe Biden's going to debate? Of course not. It was a stretch in 2020, right? Like they had to prop him up just barely for that one. And things are getting worse by the day for Joe. I don't think that there'll be a debate. I hope there is. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll say, no, we've already given him enough platform, enough room, and he's just going to spread his insurrectionist lies and his misinformation and disinformation and all that stuff, right? The same stuff we always hear. And this was in Georgia, so this is Raphael Warnock. Remember him? He's that senator who they shoved in there in the aftermath of 2020. And he says, what do you think? Should Joe debate? Will the people in Georgia be happy if he does?
Senator, let me ask you about this. Neither President Biden nor Vice President Harris have committed to President Biden debating Mr. Trump. Do you think the American people deserve to see these two candidates debate in a general election?
Oh, listen, I think the debate is already underway. And again, this is a binary choice.
They're debating right now. Kristen, what are you talking about?
But Senator, should they formally debate? You know what I'm asking, Senator. Should there be a formal debate between President Biden and former President Trump?
I support debates, but I'm not a part of the president's campaign. I represent the people of Georgia in the United States Senate, and I think we're going to hear a fierce argument in the months ahead, and the contrast couldn't be clearer.
All right, so there you go, right? We are debating right now. That's what this whole campaign's about. We're debating about the issues and the topics. And if we get on the stage, Donald Trump will just smear and lie and promote his insurrection and disinformation and all the things. All right, let's see what you say about this, my friends. It's a beautiful morning and a beautiful day. And let's see who's joining us in the house. We've got some nice comments and some donos, my friends. How very nice and generous of you. Let's see who is here on the day. We have some, hey, Glocky, what's up, Glocky? Says, if you behave like your government, you be arrested, which is absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, like, no one would like you. You'd be in jail. You know, there'd be bad Facebook posts about you. You'd have 1-star review, like -1 star. They took all my money. They promised me a bunch of stuff and they did nothing. Do not do business with this person or this business, right? Of course. Good to see you, Glocky. Says, imagine a government operated so poorly, they had to import an entire nation of voters just because they lost the vote of the citizens. Thank you for the reminder, SCBM. Yeah, that's right. And they don't even need us really anymore for the military even, or for jobs in the government. We're so sick of our government. They're like, well, how about we just let other people govern you then? You know, it's wild. 1917 Beamer says, is there a statute of limitations on the New York Bragg case? Yes, there is a statute of limitations, but they say they got around it because they charged them as felonies. So, yeah, and the theory of how they are felonies is still yet to be seen. There are like 3 different possibilities for how it's a felony, but I think we're waiting until Alvin Bragg actually brings the case to determine what the theory is. We don't really know what the theory is, but there are a couple possibilities. And I think Elliot or someone else here did a great job and shared that document with us where they talked about that. So there is a statute of limitations, but it's extended because it's a felony. Felony statute of limitations are longer than misdemeanors. So I think that's where we're at on that one. Former says, I always thought the burglar alarms were crimes in progress. Silly name. It's either that or just, you know, yours truly just like trips it for whatever reason without any crime in progress happening other than a crime of stupidity because I tripped the alarm. We got Ravicus says it's called the Hegelian dialectic. You're right about that, Ravicus. Hegel, problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic. Great clarity on and addition on that. Thank you, Ravicus. Hey, the new time change makes it after Crowder, so that's helpful. Oh, that's good news. Yeah, I think there was a reason we put it at this time originally a long time ago. Obviously, you know, I had work and, you know, I did law firm work and stuff. But I think it's kind of a good time in the day because you get to let the morning happen. Then you get some of the, like, you can capture a bunch of stuff that happens on the day and do a show about it. And then in the mornings, yeah, it's a little later now. I mean, it's like, wow, I can't believe this show starts at like 12 noon Eastern time. Yeah, it's weird. It feels weird. All right, anyways, thank you, Lady Ice. Shout out to Crowdick. Blocky says, enough said. Says, okay, here's the situation. Pasovic, shout out, says, while Biden was on MSNBC apologizing to the illegal who killed Laken Riley, Trump was meeting with her mother and father to offer his condolences. There isn't anything else to say. Yeah, apologizing for using a bad no-no word for Democrats, of course. This old guy says, we just need a more orderly flow at the border. What a moron. Yeah, well, yeah, more orderly. So I guess they can come in faster. They should just put, you know, those people movers at the airport, like those working escalators. We should just get a bunch of those down there. That would be a lot more orderly. Glocky says, remember when Democrats got mad and cried because Trump supposedly called Haiti a dump? Yes. I remember when Conan went down there and he like got in the water with his little coconut drink. He's like, look at my coconut drink. This is why Haiti's amazing. I'm like, what? What's your definition of amazing? Getting in some water with a coconut? Okay. Yeah, I saw some very troubling imagery. Okay, this guy was eating a drumstick in Haiti, right? He was just eating a drumstick, but it didn't come from a chicken. Let's leave it at that. We got Leanne. Leanne says, I watched Viva and Barnes, and I feel like Trump should have a sit down with Barnes. Plus, Barnes poo-pooed Tim Scott and Kristi Noem. He suggested Carrie Lake. Yeah, I don't know about that. You know, Carrie Lake's also, I think she's great, but I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys.
I think Tim Scott feels a little low energy to me. Kristi Noem, I think, has some serious like skeletons in her closet. Carrie